Welcome to We Don't Have Cookies with your host, Jason Marshall.
Hey everybody, thanks for downloading the show. With me right now, right off the bat, is my good friend Kenny Bolin. We've been talking about making an announcement for, 3 months now. It feels like about 3 years.
Maybe it has been 3 months.
It's been a long time. We're going to make that announcement today. I think Kenny has already forgotten that he has announced that I will be the co-host of the Bolin Alley. The dogs are very excited about it.
Dogs have not heard the news yet. You have ruined it for the dogs. They did not know. They're so happy. They like you. Hey, man. Well, look who said, well, come on in. You might as well join us. That's a Cameron and a Marshall resident.
That's me.
Walked in as the show started. Jason announced he was going to be the new host. And I'll be damned if the dogs didn't get horribly excited. You knew she's walking in the minute we started the show. You knew it was happening. All right. So, well, as we were saying.
I don't even remember where we were.
We started the show and then Maya walked in. So, dogs got excited.
Yeah, the dogs were very excited to find out I'm the new co-host for the Bolin Alley. I don't think you remember, but
crying about it. They're going, no, we want one of those other jackasses that Daddy fires every 2 shows.
You announced it live on Facebook.
Did I?
Yeah, I don't think you remember, but yeah, because a bunch of people said congratulations, and I got friend requests and all kinds of stuff.
I know word leaked out about it. That actually, I do recall 2 or 3 people being happy about it.
Yeah,
I think they were all in your household.
They were all my kids.
All your kids, they were all happy. Yeah, I do remember something. A lot has happened since then.
Yeah.
We've had the breakup of Bolin and Cornette. We've had the death of my mother. We've had the reconciliation of Kenny and Jimmy. News to you, you don't know this yet. The breakup of Jimmy and Kenny yesterday. It's over.
And there was a brief split between you and Russo because we didn't know where the show was going to end up, and that's why we're making the announcement today. I
kind of thought that we might be done because the word had come up. As a matter of fact, I confront Russo on this towards the end of a bucket full of chicken necks, and I let Russo know that, hey, I thought I was fired. I thought I'd been canceled, so to say. That's the first thing I know that tune in for the season finale of the Bolin Alley, which I'm the main guy in the Bolin Alley, and I didn't know it was the season finale. And I also didn't realize I was going to have a new host. But apparently there were some concerns about all the beef between me and Vito. And of course, there are 3 New Yorkers. I'm a Southerner. So it looked like the 3 New Yorkers were about sick of my act, regardless. And then all of a sudden the ratings came in from Podcast One. And then all of a sudden, hey, maybe we shouldn't be in such a big hurry to get rid of Mr. Bolin. Maybe Mr. Bolin's an asset to the network, but he had already stepped down. And I had already pretty much made it clear that I would have a new co-host, which basically it was down to you and 2 others. And the other 2 turned it down. So.
Oh, wow. So, I would believe that.
They're both in the wings waiting for you to screw up.
They just need about 2 or 3 more weeks.
Yeah, normally, Jeff Lane, we did a lot of shows, but I don't think he really lasted that long. And he actually walked away from this one.
So long story short,
long story longer.
Yeah. We're going to stay with the Russo brand network. I'm hearing an echo, man.
There yet?
What's that?
You're not even there yet. You haven't done your first show. It's not we till you've logged. Let's make it like a baseball game. You know, in a baseball game where you got to play 5 innings for it to be a complete game. Let's say you got to do 39 minutes on air that you're not fired.
Okay.
Or that you quit, and then you've done an official show. It's an official show at the 39-minute mark. After that, we'll play till it rains.
We've actually done 1 or 2 Bolin Alleys on the We Don't Have Cookies podcast by accident. So I think I'll be all right.
Whatever. Bolin Alley by accident, to be honest with you. We've never done a show that was directed the way you wanted it to go. Never.
That's right. Yeah.
I mean, they have all been bowling alleys. Even the ones I didn't know I did until 2 hours later.
I do want to say that we've been doing this. You've been coming on my podcast for years now. 5 years now, isn't it? It's been a long time.
I mean, you're really giving Harry Barnett a run for his money as far as a host that I have not fired, quit, refused to do their show, blocked them, that have remained in good contentions with. You and Harry were about. Yeah, it's about you and Harry. That's about it. Well, me and Dickin are still cool. And he's going to be on that reunion show that we do whenever Harry remembers that we're supposed to do one. But I'd forgot to. I mean, though Maya says, when you going to do that reunion show with Harry? I said, oh, that ain't till the 17th. She says, Kenny, today is the 17th. Oh, shit. Yeah. Let me let Harry know. Maybe we can move this thing. I'm not really in the mood to do a show tonight. Not that show anyway. So I write Harry, and Harry's asleep. And he says, oh, well, I forgot we do that show too. I said, you're the one that wanted to do it and was supposedly promoting it. I said, if you promoted it big time, we'll do the show. And if you didn't, let's fuck it and we'll do it in a couple of weeks or so. I've told a couple of people, I said, well, it sounds like he's really out there promoting the show, asshole. So we'll do it in a couple of weeks. So that's what we're doing. You'll be Command Central that night. Harry will be the primary host, being as he is the longest reigning host of all time, technically. And Rob Dickin will appear.
I was going to bring this up earlier.
What's that?
I wanted you to do a martial law episode with you and Jim Cornette where you were going to fight about the dumpster fish.
Well, you're fucked there then. Again.
Yeah. Well, then I was going to have you come on martial law and do an episode between you and Vince Russo about blocking veto. And then next thing you know, you and Vince Russo stopped being friends for a second or had that little tiff. And I thought,
I stopped being friends because I was just taking the high road and was going to make everybody's decisions and jobs easier over there. He claims there never was a problem with me. I was just going to quit and say, hey, you're all a family network. You all believe in kissing each other's ass. I don't do that. So you all just stick together. I'm not going to ask you all to pick them over me or him over me. So I'm just going to move along. I was fine before I got here. I'll be fine after. Well, then all of a sudden the numbers came out and it was reported that they were dramatically higher with me on the shows. I won't give the number. You know the number personally, but they say it embarrasses people when you say how high the ratings got with me on the show. So we'll just leave it at that. But it's dramatic. And then all of a sudden, it wasn't such a good idea for me to go away. And Vince made it very clear that I wanted to be on the show. And then he offered me my own podcast, One Show. Vince did them on his own for a little bit. And now I do the podcast One Show every week called Bucket Full of Chicken Necks, which is basically a title that Vince loves due to Yokozuna, and, including mine. And it's basically a show about current events, a little bit of politics, TMZ related stuff, television, movies, just things that are happening on television. And Vince and I give our opinions on what we think about those shows and things that are going on. So that's the kind of how everything worked out, and I'd agreed to stay. I was going to take the bowling alley elsewhere. I'd had 2 other pretty good offers, plus me and you had talked about doing it on our own. And then I said, well, shit, if I'm going to do it, then Marshall comes with me. Well, I was told I couldn't pick my own host. That's what Jeff Lane told me. Can't do that. Vince Russo picks the host, his show. I said, well, no, it's my show on his network, and I will pick the host. And that power play worked, and Vince didn't care. Jeff seemed to care a lot more than Vince did. But I think the thumb, Mark Cuban talked about the thumb, and that's where WWE likes to keep their thumb on everybody and just let them know what their net worth value is and what your place is here. And they tried putting the thumb on me, but they'd never put the thumb on anybody the size of me or the size of my mouth, and the thumb didn't work. So
there's not a thumb big enough in the world to cover
ain't
you.
No thumb that big, not that I've found. So, and I love being there, and I'm happy to be there. But trust me, the day I'm not wanted, I'll gladly leave and go elsewhere. I don't stay where I'm not wanted, as you well know.
Yeah,
I've left a lot of other places a lot quicker that thought they were a big deal.
What I was going to say is it seems like every time I have something in place for you to come on an episode of martial law, you always end up just having a falling out with the person. So I am never booking you for that show ever again. I think there's a curse on it, man.
By the way, have I ever mentioned how bad I hate Dan Severin? What an If I could ever just leave him alone in an alley somewhere and just put my thumb on him, let him know who he is and what his value is.
Well, I'm glad you brought that up real quick.
No, I actually like Dan.
Dan is a nice guy.
Bellied backed me 3 times, and he said all 3 times I took it better than the so-called professionals that were also supposed to be taking them. And I didn't know what I was doing. I just did what Dan told me. Who the hell would voluntarily belly to back suplex me other than him?
There is one person who really hates Dan, and he's going to be on the podcast next week, and that is UFC Hall of Famer Ken Shamrock.
Shamrock hates Severin? That bad?
They hate each other really bad. Dan came on here and
that's a shoot, huh? But I thought once they got to WWE, we all got to play and get along here, and I figured maybe the hatred subsided.
No, go back and listen.
Shamrock's a good friend. He was very kind to me and Chris. Now, is Shamrock going to be on your show as well?
Yeah. Go back and listen to the Beast is Back episode, and you will hear Dan talk a lot of stuff about Ken. And Ken's going to come on and defend himself.
Dan Severin, every time he ever met me, he said, "Who are you again?"
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that.
I guess that's the level of importance I have. But no, Severin, I met Severin for the first time at a Smoky Mountain show with Jimmy.
Well, that's another.
Maybe if I do a show with Severin sometime, why don't we bring him on the Bolin Alley?
There you go. I got his number. I'll see what he's doing.
We got some booking. We'll see what your booking skills are like. But yeah, tell him I'd love to have him on. I've never had him.
Yeah, I'm sure I can get him on there.
I'll also teach him how to do the belly to back if he asks real nice.
Well, that's something I wanted to talk to you about was Jim Cornette. Last I heard, you guys had made up.
You picked a great day. Last you heard we'd made up. Well, yeah. You heard right. And as of yesterday, you heard wrong. He's mad at me again. You know what? I'm not even going to say why. Just listen to Russo's show, Bucket Full of Chicken Necks, and then we'll talk about it further on another show. But something happened that I guess maybe I made an error in judgment, but I knew the phone was going to keep ringing. But Jimmy called during the show while I was recording Russo's show. Just watch the show, and then we will talk about it on a future Bolin Alley.
Okay.
And, I was going to go ahead and spill all the beans here, but I thought Jimmy might call back today, but he didn't. So what else is new?
Well, hopefully he does.
He gets mad when I talk about him in public. So we'll talk plenty about him in public coming up real quick.
That's a shame because I thought, I know that you won't go on his show because of Brian Last.
No, I will not go there.
And I know he won't come on your show because of Vince Russo. I thought maybe you guys could do something together on this show because.
Well, if it's this show, he probably would have done it. But anything associated with the Russo Brand Network, he ain't going to do regardless if Vince is on it or not. If his name's on it, he ain't going to do it.
Yeah. That's why I was hoping you guys could do it here because I think you're the best comedy duo since Tina Fey and Amy Poehler or Jonah Hill and Channing Tatum.
That is the first comparison I've heard. I've heard Abbott and Costello. I've heard Babbitt and Moustello. I have heard Laurel and Hardy. I have never heard Tina Fey and Amy Poehler.
Before we wrap this up, who would be Tina Fey and who would be Amy Poehler and who would be Jonah Hill and who would be Channing Tatum?
Well, I'm the pretty one with brown hair, so I'd be Tina Fey.
Okay.
And then the ugly one with fucked up hair would be Amy Poehler. No offense, Amy.
Well, what about you and
I guess Jimmy would be Amy. Yeah.
What about the two of you and Jonah Hill and Channing Tatum? Which is which?
Jonah Hill, Channing Tatum.
Yeah. 21 Jump Street.
I guess out of default, I would be the fat guy. So, but Jimmy sure as hell ain't the other guy. So I don't know if that's a good comparison or not. I've had comparisons made to me and John Candy, which used to piss me off before I was anywhere near John Candy size. And now I've even after losing 150 pounds, I'm bigger than John Candy ever fucking hoped to be. Who dropped dead of a heart attack basically by being hooked on drugs. So don't be fat and hooked on drugs. People ask why I'm still alive. Well, I don't drink, I don't smoke, and I didn't do drugs. Maybe if you fade those three things out of your life and just be fat, you got a fighting chance. Because I was told I was going to be dead by the time I hit age 39, and I only weighed 275 then. You'll never see 40. Well, fuck you. I'm staring at 60.
Well, before we go, you want to tell everybody where they can hear the Bowling Alley and when it'll be out?
Nah, I'm not concerned about it. They won't believe me anyway. We've been talking about it forever.
That is true.
Bowling Alley will now be on the Russo Brand Network. There'll be some banners floating around that my good friend Spencer Green is working on, if he ever learns how to spell Jason's name right. He seems to, apparently in Canada, you can't spell Marshall Marshall. It just doesn't work. He's got 9 different spellings of Jason's name, and I even finally sent him a link to Jason's Facebook account. I said, here, this is how you spell it. So he's promised me he's going to figure us out in the next day or two, and we'll actually have a banner with Jason's name spelled right, and then we will proceed to move forward.
That sounds good.
So yeah, that and my merchandise. If you want any of my merchandise, my hats, my book, I probably screwed you too. The hoodies, the shirts, the calendar magnets. But most people that buy, say, $40-$50 worth of stuff, I'll throw them in a free. I was going to sell those for $5 each, but there would be some assholes that would just order the calendar magnets that have something with the logo with my address on an envelope. So if you buy $40-$50 worth of stuff, we'll throw you one of those in for free, and you don't even have to pay for it. But if you're a struggling young comedian, don't have the money for a webcam. I mean, I've known you 5 years it took you to get a goddamn webcam. The only reason you got one is you knew you get on the Russo Brand Network. Yeah, what
That's
an ass!
right.
5 years. I offered to send you one for free.
I've been saving up.
Well, you didn't have to save. I offered to send you one for free. Why don't you buy some Beats or something, and I'll send you a free $70 webcam.
I don't have that much jukebox money.
Well, we'll talk about jukebox money on another show. That comes up about every day, by the way. Is where did the term jukebox money come from? We will explain that on a maybe even the next show. But we'll see. I'm just admiring how neat and organized your living room is. Mine will never look that good. 2 dogs and 2 kids that invade me every day, and being fat and not giving a shit. My living room will never look that good again.
If you're listening to this on the podcast, we're doing this live on Facebook. So if you subscribe to me on Facebook, or
is it really?
No, I'm sorry. If you're listening to this on the podcast, we're going live on YouTube. We're not live on Facebook. It's live on YouTube, so you can subscribe there. And yeah.
It would have been nice if you'd have told me. I'd say hi to the YouTubers, the little YouTubers, some of my favorite people.
I do want to say thank you to them for checking out the show tonight. They got a lot of exclusives tonight. There's certain portions of this that we're going to have cut out, and they got to hear it all.
Yeah, they're probably writing cornet as we speak. So, because he hates to hear his name in public. So, get over it.
I don't know how you can be on TV for 30 years but not like to be brought up in public. That's kind of odd.
Well, he likes it. Come on.
Not that I want to start anything with him. I'm just saying. Well, guys, I'm going to take a quick break. When I come back, I'll be joined by somebody, or maybe not. We're all going to find out together. I'll talk to you in a minute.
Needing help to remove any obstacles or challenges that might be holding you back from success in your business or personal life? Let me help you create a course of action that will take you to the next level personally and professionally with some bad life coaching. And remember, everything is so important.
G'day, Beej here from the BS Pod and also newpodworldorder.com. Every year you pass your birthday and know that you were born on that day. But every year you pass your death day and you have no fucking clue. Shit just got mobbed.
Want to contact the show? Send an email to jason@wedon'thavecookies.com or call 929-266-9342 and leave a voicemail.
Remember that contact info, because longtime listeners, I'm not sure if I'm going to keep doing the Dumbass of the Year segment on the show anymore, which will also mean the Dumbass of the Month episodes will be over too. I'm not 100% sure. I want to see what you, the listeners, think. So email me, jason@wedon'thavecookies.com, and let me know. So I'll know if I should keep it or drop it. It's up in the air right now. I'm putting it in your hands. I want to thank all the people who watch me and Kenny live on YouTube and to those who have recently subscribed to my channel. If you're a Kenny Bolin fan, the entire 1 hour stream is still up on my channel if you want to check that out. I'm going to try to do more stuff on there this year. I'm just trying to get things sorted out right now. I'm pretty new to the live streaming world, but I think it's going to be a lot of fun. If you haven't yet, make sure you subscribe on YouTube too. While I'm thanking people, Trevor Strong from the Arrogant Worms gave me permission to play his music in addition to the band's music. Dave Nelson sent in a batch of audio for both of his segments, and I edited together all of Beej's BS facts, so there are 90 new songs and segments that have been added to the show this week. I want to thank all of them for making that happen. As you heard earlier in the episode, UFC Hall of Famer Ken Shamrock will be on the show next week. He's a really funny guy, and I'm sure he's got a million stories to tell. I made that announcement on Facebook last Saturday after he called me to set things up. If you haven't yet, make sure you like the podcast Facebook page. You can either search for We Don't Have Cookies on Facebook, or you can click on the link in the show notes. I tried to include a teaser in the post with audio of Ken calling me earlier last week, but for some reason it wouldn't let me. I was just going to post the first few seconds of the call because when I listened back, it sounded like I was in some trouble. And I thought it would be pretty funny. Unfortunately, that didn't work. I normally record episodes with people who aren't here with me by using Google Hangouts or Skype, but I figured out that I can record calls on my cell phone with my mixer. When Ken Shamrock does the podcast, it'll be over the phone. He'll be the first guest to do the podcast over the phone. So take that, Mama Kate. Finally, somebody else gets to do something for the first time on here besides her. I tried it a long time ago, but I must have had one of the settings wrong or something. So that opens up a whole world of possibilities that I didn't have before. There are some people who I've wanted to have on the podcast in the past, but it didn't work out because they didn't want to use Skype or didn't know how, like Father Time. But like I said, that opens up a whole new world, and it'll make it a lot easier to get guests on the show now. An upcoming guest that'll be on the show is a Swiss comedian who lives in the UK named Fran Kissling. I can't wait to talk to her. I've watched her stand up and instantly wanted to get her on the podcast. You're going to love her too. I'll have more about her on the Facebook page later this week, so make sure you like that page. I also did a live stream on Mixlr while playing Assassin's Creed Origins the Wednesday before last. I said that I wanted to start doing that again. It's been a long time since I've been on Xbox Live, and I don't think anybody's left in the We Don't Have Cookies Xbox Live club there anymore, but I don't blame anybody for leaving. I quit playing and never really brought up why on the show, and that's been a long time ago, but I do want to get that going again. If you have an Xbox Live, please join the podcast club. It's also called We Don't Have Cookies. That way, when I do a live stream, you won't miss it. And I want to do them every Wednesday at 10 p.m. Eastern, but that might be changing to 11 p.m. Eastern. I didn't do a live stream on there last Wednesday because I watched the season premiere of Corporate on Comedy Central. That airs at Wednesdays at 10 p.m. Eastern, which is the same time I wanted to do the live streams on Mixlr. That's why I'm changing it to 11. The reason that I did that, though, is because one of the people on that show will be on the podcast very soon. Watch the first episode on demand. The character Richard was a big part of that episode, played by Matt McCarthy. He will be on the show soon, too. I'm really looking forward to talking to him. I was going to get another guest for today's episode, but the conversation with Kenny went a lot longer than I thought. So I'm going to finish up with him talking about something that happened to him in an old job that reminded me of Matt's character on the first episode of Corporate. I'm going to play that story, and I'll be back with an update on Mark Ofuji. But first, last week Mama Kate had a birthday, so here's a song just for her.
Once a year we celebrate with stupid hats and plastic plates. The fact that you were able to make another trip around the sun. And the whole clan gathers round and gifts and laughter do abound. And we let out a joyful sound and sing that stupid song. Happy birthday, now you're 1 year older. Happy birthday, your life still isn't over. Happy birthday, you did not accomplish much, but you didn't die this year, I guess that's good enough. So
Now let's drink to your fading health and hope you don't remind yourself your chance of finding fame and wealth decrease with every year. Does it feel like you're doing laps and eating food and taking naps and hoping that someday perhaps your life will hold some cheer? Happy birthday! What have you done that matters? Happy birthday! You're starting to get fatter. Happy birthday! It's downhill from now on. Try not to remind yourself your best years are all gone.
If cryogenics were all free, then you could live like Walt Disney and live for all eternity inside a block of ice. But instead your time is set, this is the only life you get. And though it hasn't ended yet, sometimes you wish it might.
Happy birthday!
You wish you had more money.
Happy birthday!
Your life's so sad it's funny.
Happy birthday!
How much more can you take? But your friends are hungry, so just cut the stupid cake.
Happy birthday! Happy birthday! Happy birthday, dear Ralph,
Bill,
Brandon,
Stanley,
Slipper,
good
Frank, Skippy the bush
Dickie,
kangaroo.
Bob.
Starts with when the weather is nice, you know.
Name me the job you ever had, because I did this twice. Twice I was fired from jobs for stupid fucking reasons. And one of them was during a Halloween party. And they got mad because I wouldn't go by the script to sell magazines because they wanted me to say that we are sponsored and funded, and we fund the Special Olympics. Well, when I found out that 1.5% of the money that we raised actually went to the Special Olympics, I lost my mind. I said, I'll keep selling the fucking magazines, but I am not going to tell people that we are funding the Special Olympics. I said, that's fucking ridiculous. I said, they're buying yearly subscriptions to Sports Illustrated that cost hundreds of dollars in some, well, not hundreds, but a lot of goddamn money. Over 100 in most cases. These people are thinking we're donating like half the money to the goddamn Special Olympics, and we're not. I said, so if I'm not going to tell them exactly what percentage goes to the Special Olympics, which is embarrassing, then I'm not going to say it at all. And I didn't, and they caught me not doing that. Well, you're just selling the magazines and not even mentioning the Special Olympics. I said, you shouldn't either. I said, it's immoral. You're leading these people to believe that we're giving big money and we're not. I said, it's a fucking joke. So they have a little meeting and they said, well, Kenny Bolin ain't playing ball. Kenny Bolin, you're fired. I said, really? You're going to fire me for having morals and ethics and not fucking over the Special Olympics. And I said, well, all right, we can do that. I said, but I didn't get to have any of the Halloween party yet. I didn't get to have any cupcakes. I didn't get to have any drinks or punch. So I'm going to enjoy my meal before I leave if y'all don't mind. And what I did is I took every cupcake I could find, every piece of cake I could find, every soda I could find, and I trashed that fucking place. I was mashing goddamn cupcakes and computer screens, putting them in keypads. I mean, I fucked that place up bad. Knowing that, and I'm in a Chicago White Sox Zubaz outfit because it's dress down day. So I'm very comfortable. About 6'1", 275. Closest thing to my size in there is some fucking nerd that's about 5'5" and about 150. So ain't nobody going to stop me from doing what I'm doing, and no one's even thinking of doing it. So they're gathering around me, hoping that I will leave, and I just look, I said, if any of you motherfuckers touch me, I will snap you in half. I said, you do not fucking touch me. I said, I'll leave when I'm fucking done. And I was mad because I just thought it was ridiculous for having morals and ethics that I had been asked to leave. Dial America. That's what I'll tell you. I'll even tell you who the fuck it was. It was Dial America. And,
well, please tell me after you smashed a cupcake into one of the computer monitors, you threw your arms up and you went,
I did not do that. I didn't. Oh, sorry, Mike. No, I didn't do that. I just had a smile on my face and basically saying, "Here, you motherfuckers can do anything about this."
Those cupcakes cost $1,200. Those cupcakes cost $1,200.
These cupcakes cost 12 cents each. Because somebody made them. So I ruined every cupcake they had, mashed it in every computer screen they had, every keyboard terminal, and the only keyboard terminals that were exempt in case I liked you. That was maybe 5. Everyone else got fucked. And I just go through and I take their cake and I just slam it and I'm slamming and I'm just fucking this place up. But you know what I didn't expect at the end of that little rampage is for them to huddle up and go, Kenny, you're rehired. You got your job back. Will you quit destroying cupcakes and messing up computer screens and keyboards? Okay. Can I go back to my desk?
I just want to slap around the manager first.
I can't remember the manager's name. I think they went and hid because they thought, because the big thing was who was going to come tell me and I was fired. And they sent a girl because none of the men would do it because they thought that was going to be the end of it. And I was in wrestling a little bit then. I mean, I started in 87 and was doing some wrestling shows and a little bit. I don't even think Smoky Mountain had started up yet. So I was kind of on a hiatus from wrestling. So I guess I had some pent up frustration, I guess. Plus I'd just gone through a divorce and, it felt good. I'd do it again. I'd do it tomorrow if they fired me. I'm not sorry for it. So, and then I had a similar case at a mortgage company that I'll tell on another show that didn't get as messy and as bad as that, but I did try to do something real stupid only because the police told me I could, because the police were called on me.
Wow.
But it all worked out. And so remind me to tell you the story about Ambassador Mortgage and how I was fired from there, why I was fired, and what I tried to do on my way out the door. And we'll tell that on another show.
Sounds good.
I think I've given these fucking freeloaders enough.
Yeah, that concludes the lights out segment of the broadcast. And
I've never told that story on the air anywhere that I know of. I
don't
think I've told that story, so we got an exclusive here. But I'll tell it again on the Bolin Alley and act like I've never told it before. And you act surprised when I do.
Hey, real quick, is Russo going to be on the show that day for the first episode?
I've asked him to, and I think we can probably get him on as long as he's not scheduled to do anything else. But
I just saw him on the banner, and I wasn't sure if he was going to do it or not.
Yeah. Well, I'm backing away from calling it the Brolin Alley because he's not on it enough to call it the Brolin Alley.
Mm-hmm.
If he's on every week, then I'd be more than happy to share his name with him. So we'll call it the Brolin Alley when he's on. How's that?
Okay.
But he will do some shows with us, and I have asked him to do the first one to kind of introduce you to his market and his brand.
All right.
All
right, guys. Thanks for tuning in. I think that's it. You want to say anything before we go? Even though I think we have 3 times.
Bye.
Where's your trademark, man? I threw it to you. That was a softball.
I said good day. I'm tired. I'm going to go to bed.
It's always fun to have Kenny on the podcast. If you like hearing him too, then make sure you check out the new season of the Bolin Alley this week. I'll post a link to the latest episode in the We Don't Have Cookies Facebook page once it's up. Before I go, I want to give everybody an update on Mark Ofuji. He has been found. Unfortunately, he passed away in a motorcycle accident. He's being sent to Japan to be buried. He was on the very first episode and was the very first official cast member of the podcast. But he was more than just a guy who did a segment for the show. He was my friend and one of the nicest, most positive people that I've ever known. But I'm glad his family and his friends have closure, and he'll finally be able to rest in peace.